we travelled to go and watch him, and when we got there, it was actually snowing. By the way, they played with an orange ball, which is very rarely seen. I went with my chief scout Martin Glover at the time, so it was quite a trip. But we're very impressed with the player. I think the chairman had sort of done a deal with the club, and he was due to fly over. I think it's about €8 million.
Wow!
And I think that the ash cloud started in Iceland, and all flights got cancelled, so he couldn't get on the flight that he was due on. We were going to be waiting for him at Manchester Airport, and then I think a week or two later he'd signed for Borussia Dortmund. I think so. It was a bit of a loss. In actual fact, I didn't remember this till I read an article that Lewandowski had brought it up probably over a year ago now, and it just reminded us all, of me and Martin, just how close we came to what is and what is still a top goal scorer in the world.
What a record.
Robert Perez was a prime example. You couldn't really have a go at him, Robert Perez.
Yeah.
You know, if he wasn't tracking back, because he was so good going forward. But if you had a go at him, he'd go into his shell. He don't want the ball. So I think Arsene Wenger knew exactly the characters that he could have a go at. Or I remember Pat Rice. We come in half time, one game, and Rob Air wasn't playing well, and Pat went to have a shout at him, and no, shut up, Pat. And this is Arsene Wenger. Keep going, Rob Air. Keep getting the ball. Keep getting because you knew that if you had a go at him, you might as well take him off. Because he wouldn't respond to that. Yeah. Other players would respond to people having a go at them. So you had to know your characters who you could really have a go at, and they're going to respond to it. We had a few people smoking, you know, but a lot of the foreign guys smoked, but they didn't drink, obviously drinking coffee. And the British guys were totally opposite. We didn't smoke, but we all had a beer.
A few beers.
I can tell you a story about when we went on tour with Arsene Wenger, 1998. So it was a big season, his first real season. We ended up winning the double. And we go in pre-season, no drinking, 14 days. You know, imagine the British guys. We're like gagging. We're like, oh. And the last day we had a meeting, and Arsene Wenger said, lads, you've been superb. You can do whatever you like tonight. So we've already seen the pub we're going to, all the British guys, Dave Seaman, Steve Bold at the time. Tony Adams gave up drinking, so he wasn't coming out. There's about 5 of us, seen this pub, we can't wait. Half an hour, be ready in the reception, off we go. Just before we're going to leave the hotel, Jules Gamondi comes up, one of the French guys. Yeah. Can I come out with you guys? I said, Jules, come out with us, you have a much better time. I know what the French guys will do. They go to the coffee shop, they sit there, they talk about football. I said, no, Jules, we're going down to the pub and we're going to have a good time. Yeah, no, brilliant. So he comes along with us. And Steve Bowl was the biggest drinker by a mile. He was always at the front of the queue. Buff. He's at the bar. He looks around. He goes, hello, Jules. What do you want to drink? He went, can I have a small glass of wine? So Steve Bowl looks at the barman and goes, can I have 35 pints and one small glass of white wine? And we had 7 each. The first 2 didn't touch the sides. It was like, good. And Jules Mondy's like this. I can't believe it. How can you drink so much and run around? Anyway, we walk out this bar. We've had about 7 pints, really quick 7 pints. We're going to another bar now. And we walk past, and all the French lads were having a coffee, smoking. And I looked round and said, how are we going to win the league this year? We're all drunk, we're all having a drink, and they're all smoking. And we end up winning the double. She shows you. I can tell you a story about Martin Keown, and this is an England training camp under Kevin Keegan, and do you know when you're warming up before the warm up, so you're doing a little circle, and exactly the same. You get 2 in the middle, and bang, bang, bang. Anyway, someone's nutmeg Martin, and someone give it nuts, and then someone put a short ball into Tim Sherwood, and Martin Keown has 2-footed him. He got stretchered off. This is before the warm up started. Now, Kevin Keegan's like, what, Martin? And he went, no, he said, when we do a 5-a-side later, Martin, I'm on your side, definitely. That's what Kevin Keegan said. Anyway, that night, I was walking to dinner, and Martin's room was 2 doors up or whatever, so I knocked on his door. I said, what, Martin? He said, you right, Ray, we go to dinner? Yeah, come then, let's go. I said, Martin, what happened with that tackle? You know, that's a bit out of order, isn't it? Why'd you do that for? He only nutmegged you. It's no big deal, is it? He went, nutmeg? No. 8 months ago, he done me, and I was out for 12 weeks.
8 months ago.
I've always wanted to get him back. But the good thing about him, he always laughed at himself.
Oh, that's brilliant.
And that is the beauty of it. And I know... I'm sure he wants to go down a manager's route one day as well, and it's a stepping stone for him. The funny story I can tell you about Freddie was a little bit lazy at times. We used to train at Sopwell House, Al, which was a hotel. You know Sopwell House well. It's a lot of where the FA Cup final teams used to stay. And the car park was about 100 yards from the main entrance where we walked in. I'm sure he wants to go down a manager's route one day as well, and it's a stepping stone for him. The funny story I can tell you about Freddie was a little bit lazy at times. We used to train at Sopwell House, Al, which was a hotel. You know Sopwell House well. It's a lot of where the FA Cup final teams used to stay. And the car park was about 100 yards from the main entrance where we walked in. And I always remember, he always used to park in a disabled car park spot. And because he couldn't be bothered to walk the 100 yards. And I always remember Martin Keown, he's a classic. He came in one day and said, Freddie, if I see your car parked in that disabled spot once more, I'm going to knock you out. And he never done it again. Obviously, Martin was an R character, and Freddie always he ended up parking in the car park again. But he was a good guy, Freddie.
Has he been living here?
Yeah. I think he lives in Hampstead, in North London.
Anyway, a week before the season starts, I get a phone call. Aston Villa, John Gregory, they want to get rid of Paul Merson. I'd love to have Merson, what a player. The moment he walked through the door, the team took off. We won the first game of the season, beat Notts Forest, went to Crystal Palace and won. We were off and running. Merson was our leader, captain, number 10, pulling all the strings, scoring goals. We went on a run of wins and wins and wins, suddenly we're top of the league. We get to Christmas. I think it was Sheffield Wednesday we were due to play. They're still in the cup, so we had no game. We had a free fortnight. So Merce comes walking up to me on the training ground. Harry, he went, I've got a few problems. I said, no, have you? What's the matter, Merce? Well, he said, I've been drinking a lot. Oh, really? My missus caught me with another woman. He said, no, really, Merce? He said, I've been gambling a lot. Oh, no. I said, I'm glad you're enjoying yourself, Merce, you know. He said, do you mind if I cut to Tony Adams' clinic? He said, in Hertfordshire. He said, maybe they can help me with my problems again. They've done it before. I said, no problem, Merce. You go, get sorted out. Off he goes. Anyway, on the Thursday that week, I get a phone call from a friend of mine in Barbados. Rings me up, Harry, I've just seen one of your boys and having a chat with him there. One of my boys? Yeah, Paul Merson. I said, no, he can't be Michael. He's in the clinic in Hertfordshire or wherever it is. He said, he ain't. He's on the beach in Barbados with his family. He said, he looks well. I thought, I bet he does. He's in Barbados. Anyway, the following week he comes back on the Wednesday, walks in the training ground. Now it's mid-January, freezing cold, bit of snow about. Up comes Merce, we all got bobble hats on. Oh, Harry, I look at him. He has got the best suntan I've ever seen in my life. You all right, Merce? He said, yeah, I feel a lot better, Harry. I thought, I bet you do. You just had 10 days in Barbados. If I have a row with him and kick him out the team, I'm finished. We're never going to get up. So I just said to him, Merce, we've got a big game Saturday. We need you. You're our main man. As long as you feel good, that's all that matters. On the Saturday, we won 2-0. I think he got both the goals. And we ended up going on and winning the league. And he went off and played at Walsall. But he was an amazing player. And I loved every minute of being with him. He's a great character.
We know Gaza has his issues, and he had he was a bit OCD, and he had these coffee cups where he had to, if you drank the coffee cup, you had to wash it straight away and put it back as soon as he finished with it. And Andy Townsend actually told me, Andy Townsend lived with him when he was at Middlesbrough. Andy Townsend lived in Birmingham with his family, stayed with Gaza midweek up in Middlesbrough, which is like a 3-hour drive, and then came home on weekends. So he had this coffee cup, drinking coffee. Gaza needed to wash it up, but Andy hadn't finished and they were late for training. So Andy says, I'll take it to training and then we'll take it home and wash it up after. And Gaza actually says, and of course when he's telling it, he's hilarious, and he says he couldn't concentrate in training because he knew he had the coffee cup because Andy just put it in his bag and he knew that it was in the dressing room and he had to wash it up, so he couldn't train properly. Then after training, he had to go in the gym to work up a sweat because the coffee cup needed to be washed and it wasn't in there. Unfortunately, in the meantime, Brian Robson told Andy Townsend that he could have the day off the next day. So of course Andy's not thinking about his coffee cup in his bag, so he just drives home to Birmingham. He says about 2 o'clock in the morning he got a knock on the door. Gaza drove all the way from Middlesbrough to Birmingham to get the coffee cup to wash it up. And Gaza actually says he went to bed like at about 9 o'clock, but he just stayed awake, couldn't sleep till 11 o'clock. He said, I'm going to go and get the cup. And he drove all the way down.